Happy to supply anything you need.
Well, hopefully he's not working on his dock this morning. He was working on it last week.
Yeah, no, he did such a bang-up job there. So nice. Just such a great, just the way he's handled everything. Super impressive. Super impressive.
Ken, he's a publisher for his PhD thesis and dean for his collection of engineer reports.
Well, there you go.
There's Larry Devil. Larry Devil, I'm going to rename you. You can't be a saint.
Okay. And mine will be all about insurance. It will just dazzle your mind.
Well, actually, you say that. What area of insurance?
Claims adjusting.
Oh.
I have stories. Oh.
Well, just so you know, I've had an insurance brokerage firm for over 30 years.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I started out in life, but not, it's not in P&C, but in life insurance, and kind of built enough so that I could go into my writing career and do the things I've done. So yeah, insurance is actually near and dear to my heart, but I don't know about riveting.
Well, life insurance might be a short story. You sell, you die, you sell, you die, the check comes. You sell, you die, the check comes.
That's what you think. You should see some of the craziest state situations I've been in, and just super wealthy people who do the leaving policies for their mistresses. You'd be surprised.
Did you know you need to insure your wheat stubble?
Of course.
Yes. Especially in dryland farming, Eastern Washington, it's a big deal.
Well, then forget about talking about self-publishing. Let's just
there you go.
I think that'll really get people charged up this morning.
I need some more coffee.
I was going to say, I need something in my coffee.
That too.
And Ken's doctoral thesis probably about athletics affects education or something.
There you go.
Hey, Ken, have you got the record on?
Thought I didn't? Yes, I do. Yes,
okay,
I do.
Good. Thank you.
Now, and I did last week too. I recorded it, but then when I went to find it after having saved it, I couldn't find it. So it might be on my computer somewhere, but I sure can't tell where it is.
All right.
I was in a hurry too because I had another meeting, so that could have been part of the problem.
Did you label
Just
it?
do a search.
I did all that and still can't find it. So I think it's into the ionosphere somewhere.
Well, I am going to leave you to your meeting, but like I said, I'll be listening in and I'll be ready to go at 8 o'clock.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Sounds
See you in a
good,
bit, Matt.
Hey, Don, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. How about you?
Doing all right this morning. Doing all right.
All right. Looking forward to 8.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, you guys.
I'm playing whack-a-mole. With everybody's head. Okay, I think we're ready to roll, aren't we? Are we?
We are.
And David Johnson, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, is here.
I'm afraid so.
We're not afraid. We love seeing you, man.
Yeah, right.
All right. I'm going to put the flag on. If everybody would mute to do the national anthem, then unmute to do the four-way test. We're in good shape. Everybody ready?
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test are the things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it
The truth.
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better
Friendships.
Fourth.
Is it
beneficial
to all concerned?
Fifth.
Is it
fun?
And sixth.
Bacon.
Aloha.
6 is strictly fill in the blank.
Whatever you want it to be today. All right, Eileen Laboring, if you have a thought to share with us this morning, we'd all like to hear some words of wisdom.
I have some words of wisdom from Nelson Mandela, and today's words are, character is how you treat those who can do nothing for you.
Nice.
I'm letting it sink in.
We can't help you.
Why not? Yeah, you can. You could if you had this, right?
Ow.
Then it's sinking
Mallet
in.
man.
That's sinking in now. Okay, well, welcome everybody to our Rotary Club meeting for the first meeting in February. I can't believe it's February, first of all. It seems like we're already zooming through the year, but we have a couple, 3 guests today. Kyle Strand and Connor Davis are back. Awesome, welcome guys. Their application for membership will go before the board this next Thursday. And, you know, barring any unforeseen circumstances, we'll have a couple new members. I know Kyle used to be in law enforcement, and I know that Connor used to be the target of law enforcement. So I'm kidding, Connor.
And they work in the same building.
Yeah. So anyway, it's exciting, I think really exciting, actually, that despite the challenges and the technological venue that we've been kind of forced to adopt, we've managed to continue to grow the club. And I think that's really exciting. I also think it's exciting that it's really kind of forced us to kind of look at Rotary post-pandemic in a new way. And we're going to talk a lot about that in our Rotary board meeting on Thursday, where we're going to talk about, so what have we learned from doing Zoom board meetings, recording them electronically, which I'll get to here in a minute. And then how can that apply to the future, not only to grow membership, but to create exciting ideas for the club. I mean, just the ways, you think about the ways we've adapted for Corks and Kegs and other ways to make our year as viable as possible and fun too. I mean, we're still hitting our fifth value in the 4-way test. So welcome Kyle and Connor, and welcome Matthew. He'll be our speaker today, and I'll have Don introduce him here a little bit later. I just want to remind everybody that I am recording the meeting today. So if you do have any warrants out for your arrest, or if you do have any issues with that, you may want to, you know, blank out your screen, because I am recording. And just to know that that recording will be posted on our website or on YouTube, or both. Okay, birthdays today. Senator Steve Hobbs is not, well, it's not today, but on the 12th, Senator Hobbs has his birthday. I'm sure he'll pass meaningful legislation to the effect.
Yeah.
Spouse birthdays. I don't see Kevin O'Brien on. Does anybody see Kevin? He's not on, is he?
No.
Usually I see his head right in the middle of the screen. I don't know why he's always right in the middle, but he is. But his wife, Nancy, her birthday's on the 14th, Valentine's Day. And Sam Simano, your husband's birthday, Milt Hager, his birthday's on the 20th.
Yes.
Are you shopping? Have you done any Amazon shopping for him yet?
I am already done with his birthday / Valentine's gifts.
Why am I not surprised? I haven't even thought about it. I'm going, Valentine's Day, when's that? Anyway. Marriage anniversaries. Ron and Kim Rasmussen, 28 years together on the 6th of February.
Nice.
And if there was a anniversary song, I would sing it right now, Ron.
Come on, Ken. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
I like
Nice.
it.
Record it and send it to Kim, Ron.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, there you go.
I forgot.
You got your present all wrapped up. Happy anniversary, sincerely, Ron, and
you.
to you and Kim. Awesome. Rotary anniversaries. Don Iverson, February 13th. You will have been with Rotary for 2 years.
Yay!
Yay! Woo! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
I want Sam. I want Sam.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And Larry Saint, 13 years on the 18th of February, you will have been with Rotary.
Surprise.
And I don't know how many in times you've insured wheat stubble in that time, but I'm sure it's been plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, and without regrets.
Rotor, oh, we already did that. Secretary's report, Gary.
Not much. Board meeting this coming Thursday at 5:30 on Zoom. And if you haven't paid your dues, please do so. Other than that, they're coming in on Venmo and other ways, so we appreciate it. That's it.
Thanks, Gary. Chris Vallow, Treasurer's report. Is Chris here?
Yeah, he's there.
Thought I saw him.
Wake up, Chris.
I hope he's okay.
It looks to be frozen.
Yeah.
We've gotten some connection issues.
Oh, that explains it.
Well, we'll go back to him. And President's report, not really. I don't have much to report, honestly, today. Just that it's great to see everybody, and I don't know if anybody else was up until 10 o'clock last night doing collective bargaining, but I was. So I'm a little tired today. So a lot of coffee going on today.
I thought you gave that roll up.
Not with all but with our teachers union. And so, yeah, I did give that roll up except for one. And I'm giving that one up here pretty soon. Where are we? Oh, past president's report. Is Lori here?
No.
I didn't see her. Is Chris back on yet? I'd like to jump back up and do Chris Vallow's treasurer's report. Chris? I could do an imitation of Chris's voice. Well, no, I can't. All right. Is Rochelle on? Rochelle's here. President-elect report.
I'm here.
I see Rochelle.
Kinda. Okay, so my president-elect report is with pets. When was it? Wednesday night, Thursday night, one of the nights. In a small group with other upcoming presidents, it was really interesting to hear how their clubs are not thriving during COVID, and we are. And so congratulations to all of you guys and the board and membership and everyone that's keeping this club together, because we're gaining members and having fun and meeting on Friday mornings. And a lot of clubs are really struggling. I was really surprised with the information. And of course that made us the rock stars. But so congratulations to everybody for keeping it together and for continuing to join in.
Thanks, Rochelle. That's very validating. But it also just underscored what I said earlier. I think we do an awesome job, and it feels good that, and I look forward to our Zoom meetings on Friday, because my other Zoom meetings are not so much fun. Anyway, thanks, Rochelle. Committee reports, and here's the thing I look forward to every week. Keith Partington with his breakfast report.
So it's a little, I don't know. I don't want you to be disappointed, but it was steel cut oats this morning.
Oh, did Elisa go healthy on you?
No, she was gone. So I don't, I'm lucky enough I don't ever set an alarm. So if she's gone in the morning, I don't really get up in time to do much of anything besides hustle.
Well, I'm still impressed, because steel cut oats that takes some preparation. And
a little.
My
Are they
preparation
microwave?
is ripping the wrapper off a power bar. Well, thanks for that. I look forward to the day where we can have breakfast again together. So
No kidding.
that'll be something that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
Let's see, Eileen, community service.
Yes. So Kristen and I are going to get together and we're going to get a road cleanup on the books, but as of yet that hasn't happened, but it is in the process. And I don't know, do we need to do anything for Cocoon House, Tracy? I haven't really heard.
So I did reach out to them and they would love to have another pizza dinner delivered. So I can just call them and get that scheduled. And I haven't asked about if did they finish the hedge or not. We'll see. And then if they need any help, maybe in the backyard or something. So I can start looking at that.
That would be great.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's all I have. Thank you.
My remembrance is that backyard needed a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think referencing hedge does not truly capture what we've done out there. Do you have a picture of a hedge in your mind? That is not what it is.
Oh, it's just a small thing.
Yeah.
Well, and
the neighbors loved us.
Yeah, I was going to say your neighborhood relations scale took a hit on that one. That's awesome. Membership, Ron.
Yeah, well, good morning, everyone. And Ken kind of stole my thunder. Welcome back to Connor and Kyle. And hopefully they'll make it through our rigorous applicant review at the board meeting this week. And we'll see them next week. We still have a few other members that are still thinking about it, but I don't see them here today. So we'll keep messaging to them. And good to see our Hollywood Squares Brady Bunch screen continuing to fill up every Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the interview that's the hard part for the applicant screening process. It's the question and answer session at the black site at Guantanamo Bay that probably scares most people off.
Not supposed to tell them yet.
And the evening gown.
Yeah.
Not to mention the blood, sweat, and tears of the sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we at? International, Tracy.
I have nothing new to report. I still have another newsletter to find and send out to you guys. So I am being peppered today. So
peppered. I'm not going to ask.
Well, you said it last week.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
You got a short memory.
Yeah.
Ken wasn't prepared for that, Tracy. He
Peppered.
wasn't.
He was not.
I don't know what happened. It just bleeped and my screen went dark.
Spell, ladies and gentlemen.
Pretty weird.
Was the IRS monitoring you?
I think so, from my prison cell.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to jump back up. Do you have a report for us, Chris?
Yeah, not really. Everything looks pretty good. We're getting Venmo stuff coming in. Just make sure you designate either dues or Polio Plus or whatever you designate the Venmo for is very helpful. And there's a few of us still outstanding for the $50 donation for Polio Plus. I did receive a few last week, so thank you for that. There's just maybe 3 or 4 still left. That's it.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
I don't see Kristen on for Interact, and I doubt, Jim, you probably don't have anything to update us on with Interact, do you?
She didn't have a meeting this week.
Okay.
And said she had a conflicted meeting that she couldn't be on today.
Okay.
Sorry, Jim, for your report.
Well, actually, that was, okay, never mind. I was supposed to be a meeting I was in too. Anyway, vocational, Lance.
All right. Well, those of you on the vocational team got an email from me. We are going to try to have a committee meeting next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. It looks like I've got a few takers. So Unless the majority of other people cannot make it, we'll go ahead and go forward with that meeting. We're going to review our application and timeline. I've been in contact with Kim LaFortune at the high school, who still has more questions and answers on what the scholarship night's going to look like this year with all the uncertainty that I'm sure you guys are aware of. Angie, if you and I can get together and talk a little bit more about getting the app online. I know you've been trying to stay away from your computer a little bit, so I haven't bothered you, but maybe in the next week we can put our heads together and see what that looks like. And then Interact, there's a meeting the next Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. that I cannot attend. I was going to share the Yale information with the folks. We're having a virtual advocacy day with the Washington State Legislature on that day, so I need to coordinate that. So if there's anyone that wants to go to attend the Interact meeting Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning and share the Yale information, I would
should be there.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I should be there.
James and I will likely be there.
That's all right. That's great. So James, you've got the information and you can share with the students and see if we've got any takers. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Lance. Rochelle, you have anything for public relations?
Not much, just that I do have 2 people that have stepped up and volunteered to take over, which is fabulous. So if there's anyone else that's interested, please let me know, and we'll move forward with that.
Great, thank you. Foundation, Jim. Good morning, Jim. Are you still in Hawaii?
Oh, no, everything's doing well. Just keep the happy bucks coming, and I think both foundations are on track, so that's all good.
And you're still in the islands?
Oh yeah, it's dark.
Yeah. All right. Well, and Jim gets us back because we're up and we're all sunshiny and ready to go on Friday morning, but at board meetings on Thursday nights, we're all dark and kind of sleepy, and he's spry and ready to go, and we see the waves crashing in the background and the sunshine. That's when we really get jealous. Awesome. So any other business announcements or anything? Have any announcements?
Just super quick. Since last week, I did make our YouTube channel searchable so that anyone can go look up Lake Stevens Rotary and find our YouTube channel where the meetings are being posted out. And you can even reminisce and look at the recording of our Corks and Kegs presentation.
Nice, great.
Oh, you don't want to see that.
Yeah, you do.
That was fun. Thanks, Angie, and thanks for your work on the YouTube channel. Were you able to link it to the Club Runner site?
You know what? I didn't even think of that. I can look into doing that today. I'll
set that up, Angie.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say, or I'll send James the link and let him do it.
Right.
But so yeah, no.
Oh, well, thanks for doing that, James. Yeah, I think that'll be cool that you could access all the meetings right on the Club Runner site. Be a really easy couple clicks there. All right, with no other business announcements, I am going to turn it over to Abby Hoffman from Chicago, 1968. Weatherman's Day of Rage, Mr. David Johnson.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to be here in time this morning, but they let me out finally after all those years. And they just, made me promise never to do it again. And I said I'd be a good boy. But I lied, so now I'm going to be a bad boy. So get your wallets out. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Remember,
Mr.
Chief
Sergeant
Dyer is on
Lawrence.
here, David.
Being recorded, so.
That's all right. You know where to find me. Come and get me. I know how to assume the position. So let's try that again. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, DJ.
There we go. That's much better. So, you guys want to get fined today?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah? Yeah? Well, all right. I guess we'll start with Ken. Ken, I'm going to have to fine you for stealing Ron's thunder.
Ooh.
Well, fine,
Ron, how
sir.
Ron, how much should I fine him?
2 members, at least $2, $1 a member.
Okay, consider it done.
Fair.
And Ron, I'm going to have to fine you
I figure as much.
for only fining Ken $2 when you had the opportunity to fine him more. Let's see what else.
We know how those things come around.
Yeah.
Yep, Lance. Let's just let that come around right now.
All right, David, I fine you $5.
Okay.
Bravo,
Hey,
bravo.
I got off easy. And Larry, I'm going to have to fine you $5.
Okay, take it out of my Happy Bucks check you just received.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay. So why am I fined $5?
For impersonating a saint.
There you go.
Every day. Every day.
Let's see, $5 a day times 365. How many years have you been in this club?
73.
Well, let's just round it off and call it the deed to your house.
There you go.
Deed to your house.
It's a
Which
nice
house?
house too.
Which house?
Both.
All right. Tracy will have to fine you as well.
Why?
Well, in your backdrop, your lovely backdrop complete with grazing deer, but there's only 2 deer.
There are 3 deer.
I only see.
There's Waldo.
Fine.
No, you're right. There are 3.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be $3.
Okay. Wait, there's only 2.
David's fined for only seeing 2.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I've already been fined.
That haircut's getting in his way is why.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
now let me take Larry. Gary,
Yeah.
get on the screen. Say something so you're on the screen.
Can I borrow some of your hair? Is that what you're asking me to do?
I'm sorry. I thought I saw some whiskers on your chin.
Oh, you
David
did.
look like Wolfman with full moon.
Looks like
I
a
guess
new
it's
member.
just jowls.
Yeah.
Looks like a new
We're jealous.
member.
People are jolly. Other people are jolly. Let's see. That's what comes to mind. So I think it's only fair that everybody gets fined. So the rest of you are going to have to fine yourselves. I'll jump in with commentary, but Chief Dyer, why don't you start off by fining yourself?
I will find myself because I have to leave the meeting early, so I apologize.
That's worthy. Next.
Well, I'll find myself. I missed the meeting last week. $5.
Well, I'll find myself for both of those 2 last reasons. Missing last week's meeting, and I have to leave early as well.
And I too have to leave early, so $5.
$5.
$5. Cheap.
But why?
How come nobody's finding Dean for imitating Jim? Background.
An imposter.
I'm going to have to find myself, and I'm not even a member.
Careful, you may become one.
We're signing up for a talk where everybody's leaving early. Come on, people.
Well, with
Ken,
this being recorded.
how am I imitating Jim, Ken?
Well, because your background is a Hawaiian background. How can
Oh, there
how
you
can
go.
that possibly be the case?
All right, I'll pay $5 fine. Good.
Dean,
Yeah.
do you and Jim have something you'd like to share with the club?
I'm not coming out of the closet yet. No.
We haven't. I would like to. I mean, I'll start with either fine or happy dollar, but let's make it $5. But I want to hear the weekly Tesla update from Lauren Hall. Can we get that? Lauren, could you give us an update on how the Tesla's driving these days? Unmute, Lauren.
He's unmuted, but we can't hear him.
He might be muted on his computer. Nope.
Yeah, it's not working. Lauren.
Now you're muted.
That's how it's going. That Tesla is so quiet.
Yeah, that's quick, Lance. That's good for Friday morning.
That is good.
All right.
Lauren,
Well,
something's going on. We can't hear you. Sorry. I'm sorry I called you out and went out for a report.
Well, I'll find myself because I'm not getting a Tesla and I'm going to get a car that gets worse gas mileage than I already get.
Oh, no.
So what are you getting?
A
Dump
Bronco.
truck.
Oh, good for you.
Those new Broncos look pretty cool.
I had a Bronco for 5 years. Worst car I ever had. I'm sure it's better now, but man, what a lemon. Anyway.
I'd like to find
I had
myself-
one and I loved it.
Yeah, me too. I had a Bronco, a small one. It was pretty good. But I'd like to find myself $5 for now understanding what the sign means when you're driving down the road. That's not a recommendation. A speed limit sign.
Oh, did Chief Dyer catch you?
Oh, look at
Somebody
that.
did.
Okay. I think Lauren has a mic now, so.
Yep.
The Tesla is doing wonderful. I've been working on having it come to me when I'm out in the yard. And we're having a little trouble with that. But on another note, after many years of ownership, I have decided to sell my Mercedes, my antique Mercedes. So it's going to be going to a new home. Since I have the Tesla, I'm never going to drive the Mercedes again. So
What year was it?
it's a 1980 and almost all original. It only has 57,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Wow.
I guess it has a hard top.
And it has a hard top, and I put the hard top on yesterday. So still got to do a few things in preparation for sale, but it's going to find a new home here someday this year.
Who's the lucky new owner?
What was that again?
Who's the lucky new owner? You've had several people said that they want to buy it.
Well, they disappeared.
Do you have a price tag
Yeah.
on it yet?
No money, honey.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's the story on the Mercedes. It won't be available for any parades in the future.
Thanks, Lauren. That's awesome.
Unless one of us buys it.
That would be great. And so that's my $5 for this morning.
All right, more happy bucks.
I'll give 10 happy bucks. Daytona 500 Speed Weeks this week. Car racing is on its way back. And for those of you that don't know, I started a woodworking business. My daughter and wife got me some business cards and stuff for Christmas. So I actually went out and bought a business license, joined the Lake Stevens Chamber. So check it out, Morehouse Quality Woodworking. It's on Facebook.
Cool. I see your posts out there. They're pretty neat. You got quite a lot of machinery there. That's cool.
You and Chief Dyer going into business together?
I think he's going to have a better shop than I do.
I'm gonna give $5 My son turns 1 on the 11th, so we made it one whole year with him so far, and he's still healthy, so that's good.
Super.
All right, well, I'll throw in a few happy dollars just because I wrapped up my current project I was on down in Santa Barbara last week, so I've been enjoying this week, as Lance pointed out, just kind of unplugging a little bit and getting caught up on things. And I already have my next contract lined up. It's still going to be 100% work from home, starting either Monday or the following week. So I still don't know yet, and it's Friday. But it's good to stay working.
Cool.
I've got $10. Happy. My son Dyer and his wife Anya and little baby Lily were able to make it over here. They're going to spend 3 weeks with us. Lily, she's only a year and a half, and we spent a lot of time with her. And it's been 3 months since we've seen her, so that's been pretty fun.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find myself at $10. I'm having lunch in San Diego today.
Wow, nice.
And I'll find myself $5 because we have a new kitty cat.
Kitty. How's the kitty cat getting along with the dogs?
Well, it's going pretty well. The little Cheska, they're already good buddies. And we've had the cat a week or maybe 10 days now. And anyway, we just introduced the cat to the 2 big golden retrievers. And it went well. They were very, very curious and sniffing and whatnot, but there was no fur flying. There was no growling. There was no claws scratching. So far, so good.
Awesome. Well, I'll turn it over to Don. Don, do you want to introduce our speaker for the day?
Well, I guess I could. Our speaker, Matthew Bennett, he is an author, he's an educator and a consultant. And as an author, he has sold over 5 million books. As an educator and a consultant, he has taught hundreds of seminars. He's spent his time guiding and supporting aspiring authors by placing a strong emphasis on the importance of innovative marketing and systemic personal work habits. But perhaps most importantly, this guy has actually bowled a perfect 300 game.
Oh.
So, there's some pretty impressive stuff there. So, anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
Wow.
All right.
That's cool.
Rare. That's a rare occurrence that the 300 game gets in there. I'll tell you that much.
Wow.
That almost never happens. Well, Don told me you were a fun group, and you actually are a fun group. It's listening in has been a lot more than interesting so far. Don is right. I have sold over 5 million books, and I've been in this business for over 33 years. When I say this business, I mean publishing, but even more so self-publishing. Because getting into the publishing world is very difficult. It's very challenging. It always has been, and it's just gotten really harder and harder. They do refer to me as the Simon Cowell of self-publishing. I think that is because I am disturbingly transparent, and I tell people what they actually need to hear, which is rare in this industry. Usually you either hear nothing or you get people like the seminar world, or what I call the seminar bubble, where all they want to do is separate you from your wallet and pump you up and have you spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to get, your book out. So my goal is to help aspiring authors get their books written and to help current authors get a lot more books sold. In our short time today, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the publishing world. I'm going to go light on that, and then I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts for authors. Some of the stuff should be fun to talk about at the coffee shop. It surprises most people. First of all, the worldwide publishing industry is 120 billion now. And people think it's shrinking, but it's not. It's actually still growing. And there's a strong trend towards nonfiction. So fiction used to dominate completely. And over the years, it's really changed, particularly in the 3 decades that I've been doing this. I've seen just an amazing shift. Here's one that'll probably surprise you. Print is not dead. You wouldn't believe how often I hear this. It's just like, oh my gosh, ebooks. Not true, not true. Physical books still outsell ebooks by far in all categories. So don't let, somebody pull that one on you. You can correct them. You can look this stuff up. I'm keeping the stat part of this super, super short. And in fact, let's make it a little more personal. Well, actually, I'll throw in one more thing. Less than 10% of all books purchased are read cover to cover. So that's just another one of those fun facts that you can throw at people, and very few people know that. And from an industry side, over 60% of books that are printed are never sold. So that's it. That's it for that part. Now let's get a little more personal. And when I say personal, it's because over 70%, that's 70% of people polled say they not only want to write a book, but that they should write it. And when I say 70 in this country, it's actually, there are polls where it's over 80. So that basically means that there's some people who can barely sign a check who think they've got the next big bestseller in them. These are numbers that cannot be changed. They are immutable. Another fact, a new book is published every 20 seconds. Think about that. Every 20 seconds, a new book is popped out. Unfortunately, if you look at the sales of first-time authors, you're going to see that they're usually under a few dozen copies. And people are astounded at that, but it is true. First-time authors generally sell very, very few copies, and only 3% sell over 500 copies. Let that sink in for a second. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you want to write a book? How are you going to move that needle? How are you going to make it a better chance that you're going to sell a lot of books? And that's just my assumption I'm making, that if people are writing, they want to sell books. Not always the case. Not always the case. Sometimes they just want to leave a legacy. Sometimes they just want that business card on steroids so they can give it to their clients or give it to their patients or whomever and say, hey, look, I'm an expert. And that's easy to do. It's the easiest time in history to knock out a book. It's crazy. When I started in the industry in the late 80s, this is not an exaggeration, no embellishment here whatsoever. Completely crazy. We'd hit print to print out a simple 8.5 by 11 black and white page with graphics on it. We'd hit print and we'd wait for 45 minutes. And during that 45 minutes, we'd pray that the machine didn't crash. We would literally just be like talking to each other like we were in the waiting room waiting for our first child. It was crazy. And obviously now everything's different. Everything's so much easier, which is a blessing and a curse because anybody can do it and anybody can do it. John Grisham, I'm sure we all know that name, mega author. He's quoted as saying it's a whole lot easier to write a book than it is to sell one. And that is a fact that a lot of authors don't think about until the horse has already left the stable. They write their books and they don't think about marketing. They don't think what they're going to do. They don't think how it's going to work and how they're going to actually get their books out there. No bueno. Not so good. Gotta focus on that marketing. Gotta focus on distribution and execution. I will mention this again, but that's really the key, because successful authors, they treat their writing like a business, not a hobby. If you want to really get out there, if you really want to make things happen, you got to study the habits of best-selling authors. What do they do? How do they do it? Now, me personally, I've sold a lot of books, but I've sold very few in bookstores. So people say, oh, well, you must have sold them, on the internet. There was no internet. What do you mean on the internet? Couldn't sell books back then on the internet. Didn't work. So I found my own means of distribution. I found my own ways of marketing that were very, very different. But I got good news for you in general. You absolutely, positively do not have to be a world's leading authority or any kind of expert to sell a ton of books. I'm going to 100% guarantee, in fact, that you have a better chance than I did when I started. No matter what topic you might be interested in writing on, or anybody might be interested in writing, anybody's got a better chance than I do, right out of the gate. And I could say that with so much assurance because my first project, I was single. I had no medical background whatsoever. I wasn't even married. So what did I do? I wrote a pregnancy guide. For real. I wrote a pregnancy guide called the Maternal Journal, and it sold over 3 million copies. And in case you're wondering, yes, I wrote every word. Every word. And just remember this. If you walk away with nothing else out of this talk, remember this. If you steal one person's work, you are a plagiarist. If you steal everyone's work, you're a researcher. That's what's real. And in this business, authors don't like it, but it's very rare to come up with truly original material. Usually, you're repackaging somebody else's stuff. Not always, but usually. So basically, you got to attack everything you're doing with that passion and your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to write a book? Why is it so important to you that you're willing to take the time? It sounds a little hokey, but I'm telling you, it's everything. The how is easy. Nowadays, oh my gosh, forget it. Super easy to get a book written, super cheap. Holy mackerel, have things changed. Now you can order print on demand and get your book for $7. Back when I started, if you were going to print one book, you might as well print 1,000 because the price was basically the same. And I'm not kidding. You couldn't do it. You couldn't print a book. Now, oh my gosh, everything's different, completely different. But you're going to run into obstacles. It's always going to be challenging, whether it's trying to write it, whether it's trying to sell it. Wheels are going to come off the wagon. People are going to disappoint you. You're going to have turbulence trying to get to cruising altitude. The question is, what are you going to do about it? That's where it lies. And if you want to really sell a ton of books, that's what matters. It's that stick-to-itiveness and the ability to just keep going. So another thing authors generally don't like to hear, content is not king. Not anymore. The expression good ideas are a dime a dozen. No. Great ideas are a penny a million. There's so many ideas out there. It's marketing, it's distribution, it's execution. That's all we care about. So as long as your book is foundationally strong. I mean, it has to, you know, be clean, but that's the important thing. I'll give you an interesting example inside the industry of that. A woman named Cindy Cashman wrote a book years ago, and she sold a ton of copies. She made millions. It was called Everything Men Know About Women, and it was completely blank. There wasn't a word in it. Everything Men Know About Women, and made millions and millions of dollars with that. So content, it's not content, it's how do you market it? And I could give you some great marketing stories, but obviously we don't have time. As individual authors, we are the brand. You know, if I say Disney or I say Starbucks, you something goes in your head. You might love them, you might hate them, it doesn't matter. Something goes through your mind when I say those brands. Well, as small business people, we're the brand. We're it. So you represent your book represents you. That's the way it goes. Now, let's talk about what people tend to write. A lot of people like to write memoirs. Man, they're popular. I've been handed so many memoirs, I can't even tell you. But here's the fact. You better not write a memoir unless you've done something outstanding, like incredible, Olympian, or you're already famous. Because contrary to popular belief, memoirs don't make you famous. Famous people write memoirs. That's just the way it is. But I get books like, you know, oh, my psychic cat predicts the stock market. I'm going to write my life story. Well, if that's the case, then both you and your clairvoyant kitty had better be multimillionaires or nobody's going to pay attention. Nobody's going to buy that book. So people are, you know, happy and excited about their own lives, but it doesn't mean somebody else is going to be. And don't make your book too long. Oh my gosh. Authors get enamored with their own writing, and once they get started, they just can't stop. So as a consultant, I've been handed manuscripts that were 500 pages, 700 pages, 900 pages long. You got a 900-page book? That's not a book. That's a murder weapon. That's just way, way too big. It's, you know, people aren't interested in that type of book. Another great one. Always hire a professional editor. Stress, underline, italicize, professional editor. Not your aunt who reads a lot, not your neighbor who used to be an English professor. Authors seem to think that their work is pretty much flawless, but like I said, I've been doing this a long time. Trust me, everybody needs a professional editor. You know, they say authors look at their books like they're babies. Well, as we know, nobody thinks they have an ugly baby. It's just the way it is. They think, you know, they put the words to the page and it's got to be pretty much perfect. So really, really like critical things to think about when you're considering what you might want to write. Let's see, when did we actually, Don, can you tell me when we actually got started? Because I know it wasn't 8.
Oh, it was about 5 minutes after, I think.
Oh, okay, great, fantastic. So let's, you know, talk a little bit about, you know, how do you get your books out there? How do you actually do it? I said I didn't sell a lot of books in bookstores, less than 200,000. So it's a small percentage. And people say to me, oh my gosh, but I just hate selling. Oh boy, you know, I love writing, but I hate selling. See, that's great. That's absolutely fine. Because I'm not asking you to sell. It's not selling. It's just educating people, sharing. It's telling people, you know, what you've got, why you're passionate about it, but also, and super, super importantly, it's learning how to give buyers and companies or whoever might want to buy your book it's giving them what they want. And people who haven't done a lot of selling, they tend to have this little problem. They tend to, focus on what they're interested in, and they forget to find out what the person buying actually is interested in. So Dale Carnegie said, I like brownies, but I fish with worms. And it's a really important concept. You got to find out, you got to talk to people, you got to find out what is going to meet their needs and how can you fulfill them. And when they ask you to do something, the answer is automatically yes. And then you figure it out. You work it out one way or another. They say, can you do it in Spanish? You say, sí. Can you do it in French? Oui. Can you do it in Chinese? Sí. It's yes, 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 no matter what. You got to always be forging forward. I just had an example of this where I was asked to be on a talk show, and it seemed really weird that I was going to try and be able to jumping through this hoop. I said yes, I worked it out. So you go with that. And with a little bit of time, I'll tell you a quick example of kind of ultimately saying yes. When I did the maternal journal, it had a very distinct feel to it. It was very colorful, and it was very bright and very accessible. And we had a potential deal to sell 500,000 copies to one entity. It was Ross Laboratories. And they make Similac and Isomil, the world's most popular brands of infant formula. So they called me into their offices in Columbus, Ohio, and I was beyond nervous. I had 500,000 copies. I mean, this was going to change everything for us. And they flew me in, they sat me down. I didn't know what was coming. And they said, and I remember, this is a pregnancy guide called the Maternal Journal. They said to me, you know what? We are interested in making this purchase. We want to buy 500,000 copies of your book. But we are going to have to change all of the graphics. We're going to have to change the feel of your book. We're going to have to shift some things around, and you're going to have to be willing to really, creatively give up the reins. And I said, you want to buy 500,000 copies of my book? You can put a skull and crossbones on the cover. That's fine. Whatever you want to do is absolutely fine. We got that done, and that became sort of our anchor purchaser. That led to a deal with Babies R Us. That led to so many great things. So you got to put your ego aside, and when you're selling, you gotta find what is it that people are going to be most interested in. So I feel like we've covered a little bit about the industry. I've sort of rushed through some ideas about what you might do as an author and what you might not do as an author. Do we have time for any questions, Don?
Well, sure. If there are any, we got 5 more minutes.
Okay. Are there anybody have any ideas for books? Anybody want to ask me anything?
I'm going to start with one since I got the mic on.
Okay.
Just following up on what you just said. Finding a company that wants to buy 500,000 copies of a book.
Mm-hmm.
How you just approach a company and say you intend to write a book about X?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, great question. Great question. Me personally, I come up with a concept, I come up with a prototype, and I sell the book before I even write it. And so I'm not going to take the time to find out if there's a market for my book. Again, I'm mostly in nonfiction, so that makes a big difference, because novels, I mean, wow, those are tough. It's a tough world out there for novelists. Everyone wants the novels of the already successful authors and, the ones they've already read. But no, it's such a good question, because you don't start with 500,000. You start with 10 to a company, and 100 to a company, and then 1,000 to a company. I worked with over 100 different companies with maternal journal and baby journal. Over 100. And some of them, you wouldn't believe it. One was a dental distribution company. You think dental? How does that make any sense? Well, because they tell pregnant women to go to the dentist in their first trimester to get any work done. And this, I pitched this dental association and then this catalog and all these other dental people saying, wouldn't it be cool if you had something to give these patients when they come in? Wouldn't that be a really neat way to do it? And so they bought them from us at a discount so that they could give them away. And when you print in bulk, remember earlier I said, oh, you could print on demand for $7 to have your book. But if you print in bulk, that price can get down to $1 for your book. So then you can do gift with purchase programs, purchase with purchase, straight gift, premium. Those are the type of deals that I do, where to get into to incentivize people to join a club or to get a membership or to fill out a form, all sorts of things, even to get, believe it or not, get vaccinations. I've had one of my books was used by Aetna health plans to encourage parents to bring their kids in. They gave them the book for free. How could they do that? Because they were able to buy it from me for only $1.15. How was I able to do that? Because I was able to print the book for only 75 cents. You say 40 cents, that's not very, that's not much. Depends how many books you sell. When you sell enough books, doesn't matter. So great question. That's all about, learning how to market to big entities, whether it's churches, whether it's corporations, whoever it is, universities, whoever. Anybody else?
What's your contact information and what do you charge to help people get their books sold?
The contact information, Don's got everything on me, and I'm always happy to speak with people and, give them, as far as what I charge, it really depends on what the person's situation is. It's pretty, like I said, been doing this, consulted with literally thousands of authors because I do these, I get up on the stage sometimes. There's not a lot of seminars I'm willing to speak at, frankly. They have to provide a lot of value.
I would think that we typically have an article about our presenters, and that'd probably be a good spot to include your contact information.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, always happy to hear what people are up to, and if I can help, I do. Like I said, though, when it comes to novels, it's possible, but it's sort of generic information on just how to improve your odds and change sort of your publishing work habits. Nonfiction's a whole different deal. That I can jump right in on, and that means it could be anything from a cookbook to a self-help to a motivational. It could be almost there's wide range, but prefer it wasn't a memoir. I like to avoid memoirs and poetry. Those are two things, and I swear this is true. This might be a good note to end on. I have received not one, but 2 memoirs that were done in the form of poetry. I'm not kidding. You can't make it up. It's like, wow. I don't think you can get your own family to buy this book.
One more question. So I always like to read a hardback book versus a paper book. So what are the statistics on sales versus each other?
Great question. People who are in our age category still think hardback rules. It doesn't. Hardback is done. It doesn't make sense, especially if you are going to self-publish, which really everyone has to nowadays, almost to a fault. But think about it. Hardcover, more expensive to print, takes up more room. It's bulkier, considerably actually. More expensive to ship because it's heavier. It's lost all its cachet. It really has. It's lost all its cachet. You could look at giant, mega authors, and you'll see a lot of them are putting out their own books now in softcover first editions. they don't care anymore. It just doesn't really matter. So that's another, fun fact for people.
Okay. One more thing.
Sure.
So the first publication, are they always the most valuable years down the road?
If your book winds up making its mark, sure. Yeah, I mean, that would be true. Just remember, you can always do a very short hardcover run. But oh man, I mean, I don't even know if that's putting the cart in front of the horse or putting the cart in a whole different state. It's, that's a high quality problem to think about.
This worries me. I think Chris is going to publish a book.
I thought about it, but I don't know. No time to write it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a whole system for that too, actually getting it written. And I get people to create these skeletal structures where there's basically, you pick 12 chapters, title them, write 3 power questions for each chapter. I am a major drill sergeant, and I just people pay me and then they get it done, or they figure out, and sometimes this is the best value I provide, they figure out they didn't really want to do it. They just thought they wanted to do it. And they realize it's you know what? For 40 years, I've been saying I want to write this book. I guess I don't really want to write this book because it's so doable now. It's so, there's Dragon Speak software. You can record it. You can get a good editor to fix it. If you have any means, it's really not hard to do. It's easy to do. But that's what I meant when I said, you gotta have that motivation. You gotta have that why. You gotta really want to do it. Otherwise, it's too much work.
You publish ebooks?
Yeah.
Sell them on Amazon?
Yeah. I've helped a lot of people with ebooks. The great thing about doing that is, of course, if you're going to do gift with purchase or purchase with purchase or anything like that, your price is 0. So if you want to hook up with a company and they say, you know what, we want to give away a maximum number, we'll pay you for the rights. I'm going to pay you for the rights on your book and for the but of course it's got to be enough. Anytime you talk exclusivity, you got to balance out. Is it worth it? People say, oh, well, should you do an exclusive deal? I don't know. Maybe you're going to make $250,000 doing it. Is that a lot to you? Is that not a lot to you? Maybe you're going to make $25,000. Is that a lot to you? Is that not a lot to you? Every situation is different. My favorite thing is when people come to me and they say, oh, no, I just want to hire you for an hour because I've only got 4 questions. I go, well, then you must have sold millions of books like me if you only have 4 questions, because you don't have 4, you have 4,000. You just don't know it yet. That's how, you haven't learned enough about this crazy process to know how much you don't know. But yeah, ebooks are, they can be a great value, and sure, they're always in the mix. I Ghost wrote a book 2 years ago, and it's selling more on than it is. This one is selling, but there's a specific reason for that. Anybody else?
Well, Matthew, I want to thank you for being with us today and giving us all tips on how to become the next great American author. I'm sure that we're all going to hang up from this call and jump right on our computers and start typing out those power questions for each of our chapters that we've got in our brains.
There you go. There you go. Do it.
Or the other is true, and you've dissuaded us all from actually starting the process.
Even better.
We're going to make a $25 donation fittingly to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library for youth and children's books in your name. And again, thank you for being here. And that about wraps up our meeting, everybody. I hope everyone has a great weekend and a better week next week. We're coming up on well, for me at least, a 4-day weekend. I hope everybody enjoys their time. So great seeing everybody. Have a great weekend.
Hey, Chris, 9:30?
Yeah. How about 10?